So I want to share with you what I call the manifesto. This is where, a few days ahead, given that I was guided to this topic some weeks ahead and didn't know exactly what's going to happen, but it's like, okay, my soul team is saying, do this topic. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. I had a week of really deeply facing sort of my little personal check-in, facing not so much anger, shame, and blame directly, because I've processed a lot of those, but getting to a deeper level of like, why would I even buy into and why would I hold on to abusive situations? And I had to do a lot of forgiveness. If you don't do forgiveness, you will fall into the shame. You'll be like, oh, I must be a bad person that I got into those bad situations. No, I was a good person who sees clearly now a false negative belief that was the problem, and I see it more clearly now. So that's where I'm at in my personal journey, in my personal healing journey. I know a lot of people are so lost in the stuff, they can't perceive like where's the positive belief, where's the negative beliefs, where are my choices, how do I respond? And they can feel really awful with these very challenging emotions. But remember, all emotions have a positive use. They are here to guide you. It's when the emotions get stuck, that's a problem. That's why that's a key word in my title today. Heal stuck anger, shame, and blame to leave abusive situations. If you feel those things in a way that you know what to do with them, as I do these days, it's okay. You can move quickly to identify, oh, I don't believe that anymore. I'm not going to choose that anymore. And now I'm going to forgive myself and change. So I learned a lot about forgiveness and changing this week. With a full awareness of just how awful it used to be for me when I didn't know how to forgive and change, when I was just stuck in this stuff. So let me read this manifesto to help guide the meeting a little more, and then I'll go into some really great concepts. So just see what you get from this. Heal stuck anger, shame, and blame to leave abusive situations. Serious question. How do we get rid of things that we don't want in life? In today's troubled world, we see many examples of what not to do, such as war, prejudice, denial, and cruelty. Deniers deny that they just make matters worse. Now, laws, ethics, ideals, and spirituality, they seem very promising. But what about those people who refuse to cooperate? It only takes one jerk to ruin it for everyone. Do we have to suffer endless cycles of hurt, fear, and anger, hoping people will shape up until we give up in despair? No, the real future gets way better than that. Join us this Sunday, March 2nd, 2025, for how to handle your anger, shame, and blame, to not just survive another day, to hope that things will get better and waiting, but to actually practice the new paradigm that brings predestined heaven to the earth. Become the one you're waiting for, in other words. So yes, paradise is your destiny. All of your best dreams are real. To find your own way too, because peak experiences are forever. When you have a peak experience and you catch a glimpse of how great your life could be, that's not just a fleeting fantasy that you can't hold on to. That is the real world calling you home. Only love is real, literally. Number one paradigm shift is that time is a construct of the mind. It's a narrative that consciousness creates from all the eternal possibilities. Since 1905, Einstein showed that to keep the speed of light constant for all observers, we don't have to go into the science of that, but there's a real science behind it. He said time must be another part of space, with all of space-time forever, here and now. So nothing is ever lost or gained, only rearranged in your subjective experience, putting together the movie of your life. So don't wait for anyone's permission to try this at home. Just start deciding what you alone prefer. What would you like your life to be like? You don't have to suffer other people's abuse of your life. With your own emotions to guide your own choices for your own beliefs, you can finally assemble your best life with the help of your higher self to get yourself to a world where you always thrive. Now, society, current society, was built on many layers of false and limiting beliefs that don't tell you what's really happening. Like special effects in a movie. You don't really know how it was staged. You just know that it didn't really happen. So limiting beliefs, those are the beliefs that are okay for a while until you let them go for a bigger context of understanding. For example, a limiting belief could be that your favorite food is candy. And that might be true when you're a child. Children really do have a sweet tooth. Or when you're feeling nostalgic, you want some comfort food, some candy. Then when you're satisfied, a bigger positive belief will come along to explain, well, that candy was lovely when the time is right. Now let's expand our experience to include more fun adventures. Let's enjoy some vegetables. So positive beliefs grow a connected, happy life forever. It's always about bridging and integrating new experiences, finding the best use of everything and keep expanding from there. But negative beliefs will keep you stuck, will keep you focused on a limited pleasure, like that candy, with false lies to prevent you from naturally growing beyond that. Lies come in two major varieties, the underreaction or the overreaction, which make the cold and hot hells, respectively. In Buddhism, they talk about cold hells and hot hells. So either coldly you say, the candy's fine, nothing matters, I'm not going to stop eating candy, who cares? So underreaction. Or the overreaction direction, the hot hells, is like, oh my God, the candy is all that matters. Who's taking it from me? I got to kill for the candy or die for it. And then all kinds of hot dramas can ensue, all variations like, oh, the candy, I just found out the candy is poison. There's a conspiracy. I trust no one. So either way, the hot hells of overreaction or the cold hells of underreacting, either way is unreal and unloving because they're not your real emotions. And the goal of false negative beliefs is to disconnect you from your real emotions so that you can't have a real life. Sorry, just lost my place. So, false beliefs tell you to mismanage your emotions so that your emotions will never be resolved. Stuck anger comes from endless violations of your human needs. Anger is supposed to be in the positive form. Positive anger is supposed to be very brief and focused. It just tells you what you need to change. And you change things by having stronger personal boundaries. You don't try to change the world. You don't try to force what's good for you on everybody else. You just set clear, strong boundaries. This is good for me. But then shame comes from people who are stuck in their anger. So then they turn to blaming and attacking other people to claim that other people are causing their problems. And they'll say, the blaming people will say, you're wrong and bad and shouldn't even exist. Because without you, I would be happy. And that's a lie, of course. They're not managing their own life correctly. So it is the false beliefs that are wrong and bad for people, not people bad for people. People who are stuck in anger, shame, and blame, they become abusively judgmental and controlling. It's a whole negative direction. Fortunately, it's not them, but your own false beliefs that keep you stuck in abusive situations with those people. When you handle your anger positively, you can end the shame and blame you feel, to instead be guided by your higher self to a better life for you. Handling what you don't like in life is the vital third of 4 steps to reclaiming your soul. We'll talk about the 4 steps to reclaiming your soul. So for this meetup, consider where your life feels stuck in serious problems that getting angry just doesn't fix. Who do you tend to blame and shame for your problems? And what horrible future do you helplessly fear in that direction? Forgive yourself for being human just like everybody else. And give yourself a chance to wonder how a different paradigm could change everything. A different worldview, a different way of believing and understanding how life works. After check-ins to share and relate, and thank you, I'll explain the 4 major emotion groups, kind of like 4 food groups, 4 emotion groups that come from negative beliefs. So the negative challenging 4 emotion groups. and how anger is the turning point emotion group for personal empowerment. You will see how abusers are projecting their own inner victim to attack and shame the innocent, and how you can release yourself. The power of unconditional love reconnects you with the source, so your own preferences become your personal reality. We will conclude with a guided meditation to feel compassion for and heal the human suffering which was blocking your way home to paradise. Okay, so I usually feel a little lightheaded and buzzy, tingly when I read my manifesto, and I do, so I'll just pause for a moment. Anybody have a quick comment or question on that?
What you said about, or I'm interested more, because I had not heard about the hot hells and the cold hell. I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the anger being the turning point. I'm really looking forward to this. Oh,
good. I'm looking forward to talking about it. Yeah, I like that. Underreacting versus overreacting, and both are inappropriate reactions. To have that sense of, because negativity is always playing with more and more polarity. See, positive energy is about bridging, integrating, so that there's a unity experienced. Everything fits together, everything makes sense. Negativity is all about splitting. So there's always a split with the direction of negativity. So you get either underreact, it doesn't matter, nothing's a problem, or overreact, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And then depending on which one you choose, then it's more underreacting, overreacting. So there's a sense of the hot hells are people who are just out of control reacting, and the cold hells are people who are just not reacting, going into depression, there's that great saying, what is it? All that it takes for evil to act in the world is people who don't care or don't respond. I didn't say it as well as I could, but yeah. So I looked this up. It's a popular anonymous saying that comes in many variations, and it's often misquoted. Thomas Jefferson did not say it. John Stuart Mill did say it, though. He's the great English philosopher of political and economic freedom. In 1867, at the University of St. Andrews, he said, "Bad men need nothing more to achieve their ends than that good men should look on and do nothing." So this is clearly that quote. And Mr. Mill actually used the word compass for what bad men do to get their goals. Now, compass is an archaic word that means planning or scheming to achieve something that's dangerous or foolish. So yes, negativity tries to do very harmful, destructive things that aren't good for anybody, not even itself. But negativity is too busy feeling unhealthy and thinking delusions to notice or care. You need to have the proper responses in life that come from our soul, guided by our emotions, to be really effective. Just being reactive alone is likely to stay in the same problems.
If there's a period of grieving that you may have to go through because you really can't get back what you lost or what somebody stole from you.
Absolutely. Great point. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to talk about the 4 major emotion groups, and definitely a time of grieving, a time of kind of settling in and accepting this is how bad it got. Yeah, we need to really be present. It's not about skipping over the human experience, oh, I see I'm angry, I'll quickly go to a higher ideal. We got to feel it. We got to get into it. So thank you for bringing it up to that point. To feel the grieving, to feel the pain, to feel the hurt, to feel the sadness, that is going to tune us in. All right, so let's get into lots of great details here. Because I've been doing more and more sort of integrating, connecting a lot of concepts that I've been talking about for years. So we need to get a sort of map of how things fit together. So briefly, here's my stick figure diagrams many people have seen many times. So here's you on the earth, your human self, okay? And we love the earth. Yes. And the earth can be a beautiful place. So here is our representation, right? We're just, this is a representation. We're drawing a map. We're spreading it out. Spreading out in time, spreading out in space, but it's all here now, okay? But this is to represent the source, the God, the goddess, great spirit, creator, source, the living, loving universe, whatever you want to call it, the background, wisdom, and love, the support for you The universe loves you. You're a part of the universe. You are actually the entire universe in your personality. You represent the entire universe, your way of doing things, your way of loving, your way of contributing. So that's up here, and let's say your soul will represent it as a circle within the greater circle. But again, as I said, if I could draw it correctly, first of all, the source would be all around you and through you and within you. And secondly, the source would be you, like your own color, your own texture, your own flavor of everything is your soul. But so here's your soul and other souls. And it's the source's job to network all the souls. Okay? So, kind of like Byron Katie says, I love that little quote, like, there's three kinds of business: your business, my business, and God's business. God's business is to network everybody, to line things up. Your business is to follow your higher self. To be clear, you got the source, and you got your soul is your version of the source, and your higher self is like the personified guiding part of your soul that is ready to get right in there and help you. So in a sense, the higher self is very masculine action energy. It's ready to be your mentor. It doesn't mean it's male or female, but just it's ready to be there right there for you. So often when I talk about guidance, I talk about the higher self. But when I talk about like feeling the love of the universe, how much you belong, how much you're valuable and you have contributions to make, then I talk more about the soul, because your soul is like this embracing, like, oh, welcome home, you belong, the universe, it's your home, let's have a wonderful life together. So, originally, when we're human animals, okay, there are no more human animals, but a long time ago, or just all the animals, the parts of nature, they follow their instincts. It's just this wave of loving guidance that comes down so that you just know what to do. And you can still have plenty of instincts and intuition these days, but you run on more than that. You have to evaluate your instincts and intuition, because now we've become a spiritual being who can step outside of ourselves. So sometimes we're deep in the human experience, and you need to feel your feelings, and you need to not just say like, oh, I'm afraid, I'm angry, I know what to do. Like, feel it, get into it, because you'll get into more of the details, the subtleties of like, what is hurting right now? What am I grieving right now? What do I need to forgive in myself? Where are my mistakes? That kind of thing. So feel your feelings. But then when you're a human being, when you start feeling really lost and overwhelmed and scared, and you could start reacting badly, that's when you know, oh, time to step out and be more of my spiritual self. And your spiritual self is what you've been building, the consciousness of there are higher answers, there's higher guidance from my soul, from my higher self. So I'll draw another little person here who's guiding you from your soul. So this basic trinity, this basic wonderful group that works together, your human self on the earth, your spiritual self who goes in and out of being human and has perspective on things to keep guiding with the best intentions. Like I said, intentions, that's where it all begins. When in doubt, just tune into how you have good intentions. I may have made mistakes. I may have ended up in bad places for me. My life may be a mess, but I have good intentions. Good intentions will connect you with your higher self and your guidance to make sure that things do go to a good conclusion. It is not your job as a human being to know everything that should happen and what's perfect to do. It's your job as a human being to be very vulnerable, to be skin in the game, to be trying things and see how they feel. And then the two basic feeling groups, the two basic emotional groups are like that sort of happy feelings, the green light feelings. If you feel happy, if you feel safe, it means go for it. Get more into your life. Do some actions. And if you feel scared, if you feel upset, it means pull back a bit. Don't react too quickly. Like, count to 10 or whatever, but try to get a sense from a higher guidance and your highest ideals, your highest understandings of how good life can be, what you need to maybe change and fix. So yeah, from the spiritual perspective, you then start to see these 4 archetypal levels. So this is very archetypal stuff. This is all consciousnesses experience in some way these 4 levels, which we can relate to as human beings. And I love to make these things very relatable, okay? There are esoteric names for these things, but we want to stay relatable. So the first is the physical. The physical is the physical, okay? That's where people can feel very trapped, or you can feel liberated. Look, nature shows the example. Like, the physical can work. You wouldn't have thought that a little biochemistry could bring through amazing miracles of life, but it works. The physical is great stuff. And then the emotional level, your feelings. And your feelings come from your choices and your beliefs. Try something, see how it feels, okay? If you feel it enough to really get a sense of what's going on, and then step back in the spiritual awareness to make some better choices, to get a sense of your real growth direction. We're here to grow. We're here to become more conscious of how life works. We're not just here to have reactions and, go to the best amusement parks or the best movies or eat the best food and have a good time chewing up the resources. Some people are doing that. Some people are treating life as just, it's just entertainment, and I want to pick out all the good things and get rid of all the bad things. But that sense of I only want the good things and the bad things shouldn't happen, get them away from me, that is the fast track to hell. Okay, that is negative energy. Negative energy is all about exclusion. It's all about not bridging, not understanding, just saying, that's bad, get it away, it shouldn't even exist. Positive energy says everything exists from creatorship, from the origin, from the source. I have to figure out how it all fits together. Doesn't mean I want to do everything, like horrible things like murder or, violence or starvation or whatever. I don't want to do those things, but I want to understand what they mean, where they came from. Some of that sense of like a movie, like, okay, if I went to see a movie and had some scary scenes, but I know it's actors, how is it staged? What does it mean? How did that help the plot? What does it symbolize? You get to the meaning of life. So that's more of the mental level. The mental level we relate to humans as thoughts. It's actually deeper than that. Mental level is the belief system choices. And then above that is the spiritual level, where we can feel our values and inspirations. We can feel, those moments of spiritual tears, like, oh, this is so beautiful, so wonderful, like just crying these healing spiritual tears. That's the spiritual level. So spiritual energy, the mental energy of choosing belief systems and then feeling what they feel like at the emotional level and seeing what you're able to do given your choices, beliefs, and feelings. So that if you're too messed up, you just can't really act effectively. You can't be creative. You can't be loving. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who they don't even understand any of this. They don't understand that their life is really running on their belief systems, which they can choose. They can change their beliefs. They don't understand that, so they just keep reacting. So a lot of people, they very negative beliefs. Their inspirations are very simple, like, I'm here for maximum pleasure, or I'm here to get revenge. You can feel a lot of righteous emotions, a lot of oh, I'm right, you're wrong. And it's that's your inspiration. That's not going very high. So the negative belief systems, and then people are stuck in lots of suffering emotions that they could use positively. They could turn the painful emotions into an awareness of what's going on and what they could change, their options, but instead they go down into more physical actions and they just keep reacting. And like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of people who want to convince you that their reactive behavior is so powerful. Oh, I've got money. I take things. I'm so violent. I'm so scary. People do what I tell them to. I'm powerful. No, you're very, very weak, okay? You have no idea how life works. You have no idea how to create anything. You have no idea how to love. There are a lot of people who are they're violent, and they want you to believe that they're powerful. And that's what we need to dig into when we talk about anger, blame, and shame. How is it that these people who are actually very weak, they're actually lost, they have no idea how life really works, they're just creating more of a mess that you'll have no idea how to fix, and yet they convince us they're powerful, and they put roles on us. They turn us into victims, and we end up fearing and experiencing a lot of stuff that they wanted us to experience. So there are a lot of people who want you to be afraid. They want you to stay stuck in fear. They want you to feel hurt. They want to hurt you. It's not because they're evil. It's because they are so entrenched in their false negative beliefs, and they don't even understand that love is really the answer, that love would connect them. The good intentions of just, I want a peaceful, loving planet, that would connect you with your higher self and your soul, and you would start chipping away and changing some of the false negative beliefs. So let's be clear there. Okay, I want to get through some concepts here. So the 4 levels of reclaiming your soul. The first of all is knowing what you like, your likes. This is years ago. I asked my soul, my higher self, what is spirituality? And the first answer was just knowing what you like. It's incredibly profound. Knowing what you like means you're tuning into what here in the world resonates with, connects with, amplifies your soul mission, your destiny, what you really like, what excites you. That, there's a lot of guidance in the world talks about follow your passion, follow your dreams, follow what excites you, follow what you really like. That's what I'm talking about, is follow your bliss. Joseph Campbell would say that. And so, of course, you don't want to get stuck in a rut of like, well, I just, eat candy all day because I like candy. You want expanding likes. You want a sense of what I like, what I'm passionate about, what I'm excited to do. It keeps expanding and growing. And when it gets stuck, that's when I fix something. But your likes are the direction of your soul in the world. You have a mission. You have a great life planned. Secondly, is not to just be a consumer of your likes, but how to create more of what you like, how to be a creator. So this is where you don't want to just be a passive audience. If you really like books, maybe you want to write something, or maybe you want to write a review, or maybe just talk about it with friends, but you want to get more into what you like, how to grow what you like. So you get a sense of, I'm a creator. I'm here not to just be a consumer and told what to do and try to go to the best parties and try to push away anything that I don't like. See, that's when people get stuck on their likes. They're stuck at the physical level. They have no idea how to create more of what they like in a positive way. They just know how to smash what they don't like and maximize what they do like, and they become very judgmental. There's 2 kinds of judgments in life. One is the absolute value judgments where it's like, well, I like this, and you should like it too. Everyone should like it. Everyone should do what's good for me. Well, what if what's good for you today isn't good for you tomorrow? That's when people get into all kinds of sabotage and, screwed up, my own judgments. I'm in danger of violating my own judgments. But people run around with these judgmental opinions of if you do this, you deserve punishment. If you do this, you deserve a reward. Do what I say, controlling. That's actually all coming from negative belief systems. Those are all characteristics of negative beliefs. So the other kind of judgment is value judgments, where you realize, I like this. This means something to me. This resonates. This is coming from my soul. This is something I'm meant to do in the world. This is beautiful. And I'm not pushing it on anybody else. I love to run these meetups, and I'm not pushing it on anybody. I just love to share. I'm tapping in. I'm tapped in with my soul. So personal value judgments, that's where you live and let live. I know what I like, and I'd be happy to share it with you if you like that too. If you do something else, good, find what's right for you. The third step, and this is the key one we're talking about today, the third step is how to handle what you don't like. I'll just put the word handle here. How to handle what you don't like. The goal is to be able to, when you come across something you don't like, be honest, that's not right for me. And figure out how to take that and turn back to more of what you do like. Use it as some kind of guidance. It's I really don't like that. I'm going to have to respond to that with more of my values. There's a lot of that going on in the world today. A lot of things to not like. A lot of ways that people need to realize, that's awful behavior. I can't stand that anymore. What do I do? You build your principles. You build your values. You build what's right for you. That's how to respond to what you don't like. You create more of what you do like inside of yourself. And then the third step is realizing your soul is all you need. The fourth step, realizing your soul is all you need. And I've been really getting good at this level and working in this level. At this level, you start opening up whole new sensations and depth of understanding your life and feeling that your soul family is with you, you will bust your loneliness. You will bust your lost feelings. You'll get back in touch with the universe. You'll become the creator inside the creation that you're meant to be. You basically become more of your higher self. That's the goal in both directions. You become more of your human being on the earth, and you become more of your higher self in your soul. You keep expanding the middle. So moving right along, what do I want to say next? Okay, we need to clarify where the anger, shame, and blame are involved. Okay, so let's first of all let's say so a negative direction. So negativity is about divisiveness. It's about battling, fighting things like this doesn't belong. You shouldn't even exist. Whereas positive energy is about building bridges. I want to understand how can this fit together in a helpful way. So negative energy, you will experience as blockages. So there's a false negative belief here, and you will experience it first as blockages. You're just unable to do things because you have a false belief inside. Something like, I have to do it all myself. Everybody hates me. Nobody helps me. I have to do it all myself. That's a pretty heavy burden. Okay, you're gonna be blocked pretty quickly. You're gonna, some people may get excited at the challenge of false negative beliefs, like I'm gonna find a way to make this work, but eventually it's gonna wear you down. So the second step is that people adapt to false negative beliefs. So that's where people grind in. It's like, okay, I didn't just say a false belief came to me. Somebody told me I'm alone in the world. I have to do it all myself. It would be nice to just say right away, like, that's not true. I know that's not true. I am guided by my higher self. I have synchronicities and friends come to me. I know that's not true. But if you go into it, if you hold on to a false negative belief, you have to start adapting. Your human self has to survive belief systems. That's a vulnerability of being human. You're going to have to survive. So you start adapting things like, okay, well, I'll become bossy and I'll figure out ways to manipulate people and I'll figure out ways to scheme and not care and, just I'll control the world. And so a lot of people go in that direction. The next level is codependencies. This is where, given that you had blockages of false beliefs and you decided to adapt with a sort of negative personality, now you start meeting all the people you belong with, a negative community, all the toxic relationships you're involved in, and how you all try to use each other and manipulate and blame each other. So blame really comes in there. Communities of people where they all blame each other. And then the physical level, you get disease. You get just downright physical dysfunctions. And that's what we're seeing. A lot of the negative behavior in the world, oh yeah, those people are trying to convince you, I'm so powerful, I'm doing all this, I'm getting so much done. You're not getting anything done. You're dividing and conquering the world. You're dividing and conquering yourself. You're making a mess of things. You have no idea how powerful love is. You're in a disease. A lot of people are walking around with mental and emotional illnesses that are obvious because of how badly they behave, but society normalizes so much stuff and justifies it. Well, you had to act that way. You had to act that way. It's like, no, you don't have to act that way. The positive alternative is that you have ideals. So instead of blockages from false beliefs, you have ideals of positive beliefs. I believe there is a creator, there is a God, goddess, all it is that's guiding me. I believe in love and I believe in a higher self, and those are ideals. I'll always learn more about it, and I just need to work with my limited knowledge now and keep going in that direction. So ideals set an unlimited direction. Blocks are just a dead end. Then you have principles. Principles. Those are like the daily good action, the guidance for yourself. Given that I believe in love, what will I do day to day to try to promote my understanding of love? I'll try to be kind. I'll listen to people. I'll try to build bridges, try to understand how it fits together. I'll have compassion for people who have those mental, emotional illnesses and create a lot of chaos and destruction. So principles. Trying to fit a lot of in here. So then the third level is character. character, meaning not to be a character, but to have the character of like, I'm reliable, I'm going to do the best I can always. Versus the codependency on the negative side is like, you're just in a toxic community and you're going to do whatever you need to survive. Characters, when a person like, I not just have great principles. There are a lot of people who have great principles, but then, push comes to shove, they'll drop their principles anytime. Like, oh yeah, I know you believe in honesty, but then you lie whenever it serves you. There's no character. Character means you follow through on your principles. And then the positive level of the physical is integrity. You have an integrity of you just naturally healthy, naturally do the right thing. It just naturally flows and comes to you to do the right thing, versus disease where people in mental and emotional illnesses, they just naturally do the wrong thing. They're so lost. So you see, they're very conflicting, very, very contrasting here, right? So let's talk about emotions. Emotions, like I said, all emotions are wonderful, wonderful, powerful tools. They're a measure of the energy difference, the energy of the ideal, the soul, where you belong, and all your plans. You have higher plans to be heaven on earth, to have a wonderful human life. Feeling the difference between that ideal, the ideals, and the current situation gives you your emotions. So we have two emotion groups of the so-called positive emotions, which are really just sort of the green light emotions. Things are good. Go for it. Do what you can. Go as far as you can, as long as it's feeling right and feeling good and you have support. And the so-called negative emotions, it's just emotions that are saying stop. Something needs fixing. Corrective emotions. Okay? So the four major emotion groups. Let's start with the positive. So on the positive side, you're going to have a sense of belonging. So all the feelings of belonging, I'm going to say in very general terms, but you can just imagine the senses of being loved and joyful, grateful, being very supported, that kind of belonging. And what's interesting, on the positive side, a lot of emotions serve in multiple places. So they're not so much groups as like a function. So the belonging and then the sense of purpose at this level, corresponding to the ideals. To the principles. So you have ideals. I belong with an idealistic group. I have a purpose of acting on my ideals in a principled way. And then at the character level, you have a sense of flow, a sense of like, I'm just doing the right thing and it flows naturally. I know that the future is good because the river goes somewhere. I feel the flow. It's not a dead end. And then the bottom level is pleasure. Because if you have the integrity of a healthy body, a healthy life, it's very pleasurable. Human life is meant to be very, very pleasurable, okay? People have instincts to go for the pleasure, pursue happiness, and that's a good thing. The problem is only if they're stuck at the physical level, they don't know how to fix the negative beliefs, so they just keep doing the pleasures over and over. That's when you get into addictions. So the four major groups of corrective emotions, so-called negative emotions, if they stay stuck, they'll be negative, would be the loneliness. Instead of feeling belonging and safe and supported, you feel lonely, isolated, all alone. And then the anger. Instead of a sense of purpose with your principles, you feel so adapted and you don't know how to handle what you don't like. You're just angry all the time. And then down here, instead of a sense of flow, that life is going somewhere, you're like, I don't know, it's blocked, it's stuck, there's a dead end, I'm going to go off a cliff. You're in fear all the time. And then down here, there's a sense of hurt. I'm dysfunctional. I can't feel my pleasures. My pleasures turn quickly to addictions. I'm hurt. I'm really hurt. So these four groups of loneliness, anger, fear, and hurt. And see, now I want to wrap up with the point of the anger, shame, and blame and how they fit together. So what's happening is the anger, you can see this is at the level of the mental. It's where you connect with your belief systems. Anger is meant to tune you into what's not right for you. Okay, well, everybody can kind of relate to that, right? You say like, that made me angry. That's not right for me. Let me kind of give myself a little break here. Set my board down. So the thing is with anger, you know that you need to fix something. Something's not right for you. But the negative direction, negative beliefs are going to tell you, oh, it's the world. Change other people. Change, and you'll never finish trying to change other people. Okay, there is no one solid world out there. It's all law of attraction. Your inner world, your energy world, that's what's real. Your energy is real. And based on that, you will meet people that connect with your energy, that show you some of the energetic functions, the patterns in you, you're going to meet on the outside. Now, you may meet somebody who does it way worse than you, but you need to relate. You need to build a bridge. Say, like, what they're doing is terrible. Oh my gosh, where am I doing that kind of thing in my life? And you realize, like, oh, well, I want to turn around. That's handling what I don't like in life. When I get angry and realize I don't like that, that's not right for me. I'm not going to make an absolute judgment. I'm not going to like make a law that says everybody has to not do that or get punished. I'm focused on like, let me find where in me I do the kind of thing they're doing. So, you meet a person who's very cruel. Where am I cruel? I'm a nice person, right? You don't have to get defensive. It's not about being nice or mean. It's about empowerment, remember? Negative beliefs, negativity is about disempowerment, and then it leads to victims or meanness, bullies or whatever, but it's the empowerment first. So disempowering anger is about going that direction of like, I'm going to vent. I'm going to try to change other people. And then people who go in that direction, they never get unangry. They're never done being angry. You can be an angry person for your whole life. Angry at all the people who didn't listen to me, who didn't do what I said. When I had my spiritual awakening in my early 20s, it was like so beautiful, so wonderful. The living, loving universe. Oh my God, God is real. We could have such a wonderful life. And then I kind of went into my negative beliefs. Okay, I needed to do some work, right? But I didn't understand at that time. So the first thing I did, and a lot of people do when they have a spiritual awakening, is like, well, wake up, everybody. I figured out life could be good. Do what I say. Come on, everybody. Love. Damn it, love. It's like you're trying to change other people. And you're going to stay angry that way. I was a very angry person for a long time because other people weren't changing the way I knew that the world should change. I wasn't connecting them back to an example of what in myself do I need to change. So positive anger doesn't stay stuck. Positive anger is very simply you notice something that's not right for you. Very focused. There have been times where I've been absolutely furious for like 5 minutes. That was very focusing. I was like, wow, I never really thought about how bad that person was for me or bad that choice was for me. And whoa, all this anger came up. That really messed up my life to believe in that, to act in any way like that. Positive anger focuses you on what you need to change inside yourself. You realize, oh, I need to not do what those people out there are illustrating to me, and I don't want to be like them. So I'll make more of a change in myself. I'll get back to the principles. Remember in my board here, to get more of the principles going in my life. So rather than blockages, change to what I do need to do. So it's interesting with anger, people who stay stuck in anger, they try to make outward-facing boundaries. Keep away from me. I'm fierce. Don't cross my path. Don't disobey me or I'll get really angry at you. It's all like pushing outward-facing boundaries. With positive anger, it's an inward-facing boundary. Like I'm letting go of other people. I'm interested in what are my principles, what things do I do in life and what do I not do in life. So with good anger, positive anger, you very quickly focus on what's not right for you to do. You set a principle. I will not do that. I will do instead this. And you abide by that. And you can sort of post angels at the borders. You say like to angels and your guides, like if I ever get close to doing that kind of thing, let me know. Tell me to stop. So it's really kind of like, rather than like the Garden of Eden where the angels kept the people out, it's more like angels at the borders keeping you in your positive functioning. That's positive anger. So let me get to the point of, so that's a sense of anger, right? So stuck anger, what happens is that people stay stuck in their anger, and they don't have a sense of principles and changing themselves. Instead, they keep adapting. And they adapt by saying, like, well, I'm a good person. Other people should be punished for the things that are wrong. They go down into the codependency level of, like, all the toxic people they're with. And then it becomes very natural to blame. So there's a lot of blame at this level. So at the fear level, there's a lot of blame. At this emotional level, if you were in a positive state, you would see exactly who's doing what. In a negative state, at the emotional level, there's a lot of projecting. You notice that with violent, victimized, whatever, negative, powerless people, they project a lot. It's like, don't you realize what you're angry at, what you're talking about is like, you do that. It's like, no, they did that to me. There's a lot of victimization, a lot of blaming. They don't take ownership. They can't. You can't take proper ownership until you really have a positive anger that focuses you on some beliefs to change. If you continue with get stuck anger, you're going to feel fear of all the people in your world, in your life that are toxic for you, and you're going to blame them for all the things that happen to you. So, like, one phrase I like is the accusations of a narcissist are confessions. And you see that. You see these people who are like, they're constantly blaming and saying, like, somebody's doing something awful, and you're like, that's a signal. You're doing that. You're thinking of that. You're trying to put it on someone else. You're doing it. So blame is really shifting the responsibility onto others instead of changing themselves. And then at the hurt level, you get the shame behavior. Stuck hurt level, you get the shame. Shame, so some words on shame here. Shame is really powerful, really important to understand. I'm going to draw a nice little diagram here and wrap this up. So the antidote to blame is to start taking ownership. Like, okay, I know that those people are doing awful things, but it's not my job to try to change them. It's my job to change me. So you take ownership. But if you continue with the blame, you'll get into the shame where it's like, look, somebody's got to be bad and wrong. Somebody shouldn't even exist, because that's what negative beliefs do. They say what should not exist and what should exist. So you get down into this level of the mental illness, the disease, the hurt. You're hyper-focused on what should not exist. And you see that with very negative people. They're just focused on, like, that should not be, that should not be. You should be punished for that. That should not exist. That person should die. That capital punishment. That all they can think about is dividing and conquering. And they're dividing and conquering themselves. So shame is the feeling of believing that you shouldn't even exist. There's a shame of doing and there's a shame of being. A shame of the thing I did. It's like, oh, that was so wrong, it's so bad, I screwed up my life, I never should have done that. Oh my God. You know that feeling. It's crippling. You're just stuck in the shame. You can't even begin to forgive yourself and see alternatives. You're just stuck in the shame. And then there's the shame of being. If you get enough of the shame of doing, you start concluding, like, I'm just a bad, wrong person. I'm a failure. I shouldn't even exist. Okay, so when you feel that kind of shame, you're playing into the role with other people who want you to feel shame. There are those people who want you to not exist because they're blaming you for their problems. So that's the interplay we see. So let me draw a little diagram here. Two people, okay? Let me get maybe another color to illustrate the point here. So, all right. So this person on this side, let's say this is the person who is going to want to blame and shame somebody else, and they don't want to feel shame. They don't want to feel that they've ever done anything wrong. They're totally blameless, totally shameless. And then the person over here, they're going to play the victim. So let's keep them as the blue side. They're going to play the victim. So victims tend to take on way more shame, way more blame than is theirs. The goal in life is to just own exactly what you did and work on fixing that. It's okay. I see where it came from. I was reacting to false beliefs. I can change them as a powerful spiritual being. But in victimhood, you're just like, okay, everything is my fault. It's terrible. And the shameless person is like, it's all your fault. And they're just, you see these people are like, do you have no shame? You're so cruel. You make the problems worse. You hit people when they're down. You blame the victims. Why do you do that? Well, victim blaming, it's very interesting. You see, if it was really, like I was saying earlier, if it was really just about, the world is what it looks like, and some people are powerful, they would just do what they do, and they wouldn't care. And they wouldn't go into the victim blaming, and they wouldn't go into trying to be a victim themselves. What's happening is everybody is in their own energy bubble. Everybody is their own energy. This is not an impact world. This is not a world where you do things to other people. This is a world where you do things to yourself to model what you want other people to play along with. You try to set up dramas and scenarios and try to get people to play roles with you. So the role of an abuser, this is the abuser here, their role is to have all these abusive internal drama, internal abusive negative beliefs, and they're going to push it away. They're going to deny that I'm powerful. I'm not weak. I'm powerful. I use violence very effectively. I'm smart. I know how to use people and manipulate people. They are pushing away. They're denying their victim side. They're actually a victim of their own beliefs. Their own energy is terrible. They're down in the disease level. And then on this side, the people who are victims, they're going to feel all the shame. They're going to take it all on. They're going to say like, oh yeah, I'm making my mistakes of being with you, but I'm also doing everything you're saying. Oh yeah, I'm terrible. So it's a disowning of each person's side. The bully wants to take all of the bullying energy and claim they're so powerful, and the victims take all of the shame energy. So this is why abusers have to shame their victims. They're actually constantly in their own minds pushing away the energy of their internal victim state. You know that a lot of abusive people, they had terrible childhoods. They need a lot of healing. They're really wounded inside, but they're constantly denying that. They can't feel any shame. They can't begin to admit to any mistakes. The way to get out of shame is to convert it into regret, to just own exactly what you did wrong, and just say like, look, I had good intentions. I didn't do this to be a bad person. I was trying out the belief systems. Maybe I was a kid and just had to survive by taking on a lot of belief systems. And that's what caused me to act bad. So I made mistakes. Mistakes are human. You got to let yourself make mistakes. You got to let yourself be a human being who makes mistakes. Because at the context of the human being, you have good intentions. You want a life that's happy, pleasurable, fun, and loving. And then you meet people who do terrible things, and you do terrible things in reaction to them and whatever. You start realizing like somewhere somebody made mistakes. Well, you need to own and find your own mistakes, and then you convert the shame to regret. Just honest regret. I'm really sorry. And you can talk to yourself, talk to your human being, talk to your higher self. Just, I'm really sorry it happened that way. I really want to change. Help me, my source, help me, my higher self. How do I change? You forgive yourself and you change. You will be guided to which beliefs to change, to how to have a different kind of life, a different kind of lifestyle. And you will let go of the abusers. You'll realize the anger will help you. Positive anger will help you. Those people were trying to put all of their garbage on me. All the ancestral lineage garbage, they were all dumping on me. All the abuse came down to me. They wanted me to be the scapegoat. They wanted me to be the one to blame who was a bad person who shouldn't even exist. No, nobody should not exist. Everybody should exist. Push it back. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of mistakes that aren't yours. You got to push it back. Say, no, it's yours. But you do it with love. You don't send it back. This is cord cutting. This is where they talk about cord cutting. And we're going to do that in the meditation, where you identify a person that you were in a psychic connection with, and you had this connection such that they were always trying to put their internal victim onto you, and you were absorbing that victimhood, and you were internalizing an abuser. Because victims, they have horrible things in their head telling them what a bad person they are. Well, the true abuser, they're shameless. They're just trying to always be, innocent and a victim, and other people made them do it. So the abusers are trying to steal your innocence. You want to get back to the innocence of, look, I had good intentions. I didn't know what I was doing. Help me, my higher self, to find which beliefs to change and heal. You can. So you convert shame to honest regret. You forgive yourself, and you can find things to change. And then you won't be blaming anymore. You'll be owning things. And you'll be at the level of, like, anger helped me decide my principles. I decided what kind of person I want to be, and I won't go there. I won't go picking fights with, mentally, emotionally ill, mean people. I spent a lot of my life picking fights with people, and I realized, like, what am I doing? Like, I need to change more of me and just have compassion for all the people who, yeah, they're obnoxious, but they're also really suffering inside. You get a sense of how everybody is their own internal universe, and they're all suffering inside. And this all comes out when you go into the afterlife, by the way. If you have to have any sense of, justice, it's like, look, all the people who are playing the bully and they're putting all their internal victimhood onto other people and they're being terrible and abusive, they're going to meet all of that energy in the afterlife. When you die, you go above belief systems and you collect all of your energy. So all of the good things, all of the bad things you did, it's all there. It's all your energy. So it is really hell in the afterlife for people who were shameless abusers, trying to convince the victims that they asked for it and they were just doing smart things to survive. In the afterlife, it's hell. They face what a horrible person they were. And then they still have to learn how to forgive and change. And, there's redemption, there's reformation for everyone. But yeah, a lot of us who have good intentions, who have been doing the best we can, the afterlife is going to be a wonderful surprise. You're going to be amazed at how many people really did benefit from you, how much your love really mattered, how much your good intentions really did create good outcomes that people felt. You're going to have a lot of good energy to own. And the goal is in the ascension is to own the afterlife. Pull that in. Pull your whole energy being in while you're still alive. So you don't have to die to understand what's going on and to be able to own your energy and to make the improvements you want. You don't want to have to die and like, oh, now I see all my mistakes. Well, I guess I have to reincarnate and try it all again. But then you forget and do it again. And like people get stuck in these loops of making the same mistakes lifetime after lifetime. Just learn how to fix them in this lifetime and you'll be golden. You have paradise ahead of you. This is just a growth phase, just a, learning phase to get through over the speed bump in the road, to slow down, to fix things. And then it's happy ever after. Really, you can have permanent healing, happy ever after. So good. That is what I wanted to say. And, whoa, okay, we're going to do a meditation.